3-0 weekend so far. They're looking to make that 4-0. Looking to make that 6-0. If you win the whole thing, you get a bye into the quarterfinals, which happened to them last year. They got top 8 at Worlds. Partial thanks to that bye, maybe. And certainly they're a team that's looking great. They're a team with a lot of confidence. They're a team with a lot of strategies and so much history behind them as well.
Yeah.
That TSM, I mean, this is not even a strange experience to them.
Yeah, and they have a lot to prove on the world stage, too.
Yeah.
A lot of people still give them flack for not being able to take games off of Korean teams.
It's true. They put up close fights. They just haven't quite sealed the deal just yet. The picks and bans coming through. Shockingly, the first ban for Vulcan is, in fact, Karthus. The Lee Sin and Evelyn still dropped away from McSmithy, so you're seeing the respect being sent forward. And interestingly, Vulcan, the team that dropped away, is that they expect that to get first picked away by Reggie here.
Yeah, and Karthus is sort of a double ban, but these are basically 2 Reggie bans so far from Vulcan. And Reggie is really a player who plays very intensely a smaller number of champions. Even though he's been playing since the beginning of the game, literally,
yeah.
He only really uses in competitive play the champions that he's recently played. So he technically has a smaller champion pool than most people know.
And I want to see what he first picks here because Ari was so huge for him last time, and he does go for it here. It's something that ManCloud has been playing a bit recently, and so now Vulcan knows they're going to get that Ari coming out of that spot. Wow, you're right. They just
Dyrus loves Zach as well.
Interestingly, they grabbed for the Sona and Elise, though, first.
So the odd one could easily take it into the jungle. It would be great for Dyrus up top. Vulcan, they really put a high priority, though, on Bloodwater's Sona. I mean, that has been their tried and true play-making champion for Bloodwater, who is the shot caller for that team, throughout their entire LCS history. So that's actually very important to this team specifically.
So there we go. They're just putting their eggs on their own basket, saying, this is what we know works for us. Yeah, we know you guys would like to play Zach. We know all these other things that you guys care about, but these are champions that we know we will excel and will play our game and bring it out to you, playing the Vulcan style. And TSM actually not even interested in that Zach right now. I mean, they have to know this champion is here, and they're like, no, you're not going to steal Thresh. They've already got Sona. They're like, no, we'd rather just grab the Thresh now and hide the rest of our picks than try to steal something from you.
I feel like they must have a plan for the Zach then. Maybe a Dyrus solo lane counter pick, something he feels is extremely strong. Now that Zach's blobs have a much shorter range to pick up to get that heal, in the laning phase, if you actually lane against them 1 versus 1, it really does make a much bigger difference. If you concentrate on stomping those blobs, it makes Zach have to misposition himself a little bit more, and you can punish him.
And to think about it, most of the big champions for Dyrus are still up. The Jace, the Rumble, the Renekton, 3 of his 4 most played champions this split, all available for him. Zuna looking for his choice right here. I actually like the Tristana pick more than Caitlyn.
Yeah.
I think it gives them more of this fallback plan of, well, we'll just go to 50 minutes and let Tristana carry it. And interestingly, this has been the kind of the common counter pick in Korea is picking this Nasus into an expected Zac, and there's Elise and Nasus. That could go either way, to be fair. That could be top lane Nasus or top lane Elise. But the top lane Nasus we've seen really popular of late.
I mean, the top lane Nasus works in Korea, but I haven't seen it work here. I keep on talking about the misses. Dyrus doesn't hesitate, though. He's not jumping on that Zac bandwagon. Nope. Gonna go back to that Rumble. He, along with Balls, are really the 2 North American Rumble players, in my opinion. I don't feel like anyone else has really had a similar impact with that champion since the changes have made it harder to use his ultimate effectively. You really have to have some other way to keep people on top of that equalizer. And with Odd One always loving to go Jarvan, Cataclysm is a perfect combo.
Yeah, they've got a really wonderful team composition here. A lot of them can actually participate from far away. The equalizer coming across if you land a Thresh Hook or land a Charm. Vulcan, though, they've known the entire time they could have picked their mid laner up against Reginald, and they've saved it this whole time, prioritizing champions that, like Tristana, aren't even contested. It wasn't a big deal there. But they say, no, we're going to go for the double AD comp. They wanted to see if the frontline tank was coming out, and there's the mid lane Ezreal for ManCloud.
So Vulcan here, I was going to say with the first 4 picks, they went very, very focused on comfort picks. Even without the Zac, it looks like since Psycho Sid's already locked in his summoners, I don't think they're going to be switching it around, and it will be that solo lane Nasus. So we'll see if they can have similar success that we've seen over in OGN when when they can rush that Spirit Fire and actually be a strong presence. The key is being a strong presence in the lane as Nasus. The problem over here is then the Nasus, they haven't been able to you know, keep their turrets up. They haven't been able to have really any control on the map. And so by stacking up that cube, they've had to sacrifice objectives all over. That's not the direction you want to go with that pick.
And that is interesting too, because they've all run teleport. Right? It's been that, like, whether it was Boy on Jax or also Nien and Voy as well on the Nasus, they ran teleport and yet still weren't really controlling the map nearly as well. So it is the Nasus lock-in. It's still going to be the champion here. Dyrus, of course, on Rumble, one of his mainstays. And we're coming into this game 2 of this best of 3. TSM wins this game. They are guaranteed a top 2 spot in North America. This is sort of their manifest destiny. They won every year. Again, their 4th sort of season title. Season 1, yep. Season 2, yep. Season 3 spring split, yep. Season 3 summer split. We're seeing them go for it right now. They've got the top 4, but they need at least 3rd place to get a spot. They win here, and it's TSM riding on to the finals, where they're going to face, of course, one of their opponents on Sunday. But Vulcan, you heard them say, well, we had our warm-up game. And we talked about that in the pregame last time. Oh, TSM played yesterday. Vulcan might need to warm up here. As Christina said, they're looking for the 2-0.
Yeah, the players did talk about that regime that TSM have really set up here. And they are looking to add one more season onto that. I think that the combo here, where Vulcan have decided to go double AD with the lane Nasus, means that they're trying to shore up that mistake that a lot of the teams have been making with sacrificing objectives, because having Ezreal mid, he's able to push the lane fairly easily, and you get a lot of pressure onto those turrets early because he does have that arcane shift and he can escape from ganks quite easily.
Yeah.
So if they're able to switch the focus of Vulcan from the jungle over to that mid lane because of the pressure that they create, then they can give time for Psycho Sid to stack up his Q in that top lane.
Well, right away, we're seeing already some clever moves come through. The Elise and Ezreal stayed in the mid lane here for Vulcan and spotted TSM going over towards Vulcan's red buff. In the meantime, Vulcan went down to the bottom side jungle, warded up TSM's lizard area, and they might just make their way back around. So a lot of vision now here. A little bit more for Vulcan, but some good deep vision on both sides. The rest of TSM still running around the map. They got spotted by the Explorer ward here as they walk over towards Vulcan's Golem. I want to see if they get pinched on or if anything crazy happens at this level 1. Vulcan actually surrounding TSM's exit.
Doesn't look like they're going to pull off the pinch, though. One shot. All right, first scratch goes to TSM. That's no first blood.
But Zuna actually was forced to learn Rocket Ship now because of that. Normally you start Explosive Shot in the lane for some harassment potential, for some of that pushing if you need it. And so it's like a slight actual lead. Like first scratch I think is actually accurate because not only is he dealing damage, but he's forcing an improper skill order out of Zuna. Now, wards have come down deep on both sides. Last time TSM got extra buff control from their early lane sort of game, and I want to see if this happens here as well.
It's warded up, so they're aware that he's starting blue, but there isn't going to be a contest here. And ManCloud, he wastes no time using that mid lane Ezreal to try and shove the lane, create the pressure right at the center of the map.
And we're seeing actually, look at Psycho Sid actually over to the right of the screen. He's actually taking out the double golem camp here at the top side of the map. He knows he's in a 1v2 situation and doesn't get to do anything. Bloodwater zones out Dyrus. I take that back, Sid actually didn't take Golem. He was just sitting there on the side, but he's helping the buff get started here for Smithy. They knew last time Abba looked for a steal. You're seeing Abba come up now as well, but Sid did enough damage to allow Smithy to not let that get stolen.
Good adaptation there. Aware of the ward so that they actually brought down the available solo laner to help him out and burst it before Odd One's able to get into position.
Very smart stuff. So Odd One has to sadly go over to his own blue buff. He doesn't get to steal anything this time around. Again, smart level 1 play by TSM, but a good adaptation this time around by Vulcan. The top lane getting pushed down. Sid starting on the Spirit Fire. Hasn't lasted any minions just yet, though. So that's not quite happening for him. But ManCloud still, he looked to play aggressively early on, but chunked down a half HP by Reggie is not the best thing for him.
And starting Doran's Blade means he has to continue to auto-attack and shove the lane if he wants to sustain back up.
So, speaking of sustaining back up, though, and pushing, you got that Sona Tristana lane, the Doran's Blade down there as well. The Awa making his way across the map, knowing that he's got Dyrus in danger of getting dived there. They have some ward coverage, though. But it's going to be a 2v2 at that bottom turret.
Now, it was Vulcan during the LCS season that went with the early 3-man dive onto a solo lane Rumble dyrus down bottom. That actually turned the game around for them. So they have to have that still in their minds. I don't think that they'll actually be calling for the ganks onto dyrus, and they're just going to be satisfied with shoving him into the turret there. Because last time, it was disastrous. Dyrus got first blood double kill. Yeah, they can't have that happen again.
No, they can't. But look at TSM. They've actually adapted their lanes. They actually want to match up a 2 versus 2 because they just sent Wild Turtle Special to the bottom lane, which has Vulcan actually recalling their duel back to the top side. They're going to recall Psycho Sid back as well. TSM are hunting for a lane matchup, and Vulcan don't want that to happen.
Now, in the early switches, Psycho Sid's got the advantage because he has Summoner Teleport. So he actually didn't have to miss minions for this second switch that Vulcan have pulled in response to the TSM movements.
Wow, so that's going to help a little bit. We'll see how much Dyrus ends up losing. He's not back to his lane just yet. And there's a giant minion wave being built up right here. Dyrus gets a ward into the river, and there's a huge wave, plus an Smithy coming in towards his top turret.
He's not going to be losing out on minions, but he's going to get pressured under the turret here. They're just going to come straight into lane with Smithy, and 3 ranged champions will be able to put a lot of damage onto this turret, despite the early armor and despite the AoE of Rumble.
And there's no teammates here for Dyrus, just the minions, and no one's even trying to help him out here. TSM confident that Dyrus will hold on to this 1v3. This turret is losing health pretty rapidly, down to 2/3 right now. You're seeing the minion wave get cleared out as another wave comes in for reinforcements. Dyrus taking some poke down, but still they're just focusing on the turret. Uh-oh, here comes the push and exhausting as Dyrus flashes the stun. The Bloodwater has aggro, flashes away from that one. Rocket jump away, look at that first blood by Vulcan, and the turret's going to go for them as well.
TSM want to answer though, they're going to take Dragon. It's a first blood plus a turret though, so it's not an equalization here.
Not at all. The equalizer not coming through, not exactly for TSM. Whereas Dyrus not level 6, so he can't. And ManCloud going to keep pushing in the mid lane as Reggie, of course, went over towards the Dragon. But he's showing back up to clear this one out. Vulcan still pushing that secondary turret. Now, last time around, that didn't actually work for them, that secondary turret push with their dual lane. Maybe it'll work out here.
Well, they have Smithy recalling, so it's just going to be a half-hearted 2-man push, but it's been a very good job by Vulcan. They're making the adaptations already. They made use of the Summoner Teleport. Dyrus going with that Combat Summoner, the Ignite, did not gain any benefit. He had to burn it as well in response, trying to get a kill, a response kill, but he wasn't able to get that. And Psycho Sid got some extra minion kills, as well as he's leading Dyrus in experience now. So very good job of them working around that extra utility summoner that they've chosen.
Yeah, extremely well played by these guys. And look at the rotation here. The Essence Flux comes across, giving attack speed to Zuna and Bloodwater, and the mid lane turret now under siege. I don't think it's quite going to die in this wave, but they're getting it down below half. Actually, Smithy's showing up as well. They might just have enough if they... No, they're not going to take the turret shots there. But the mid lane turret down to 1/3.
But what they've done, because of that dual AD comp that I talked about having the early pressure on the turrets, is they've bought Psycho Sid the time with the solo Nasus down there. He's been solo farming, and he's maxing his Q. That's what they want for him to scale up as quickly as possible. Yeah. Really, really well played here by Vulcan, showing the other North American teams how you're supposed to run with this Nasus.
And that ManCloud versus Reginald match that we talked about beforehand, look at how it's going now. ManCloud 53, Reggie only at 40 there. In fact, Psycho Sid, who was in a 1v2, almost out-CSing Reginald. That's what the lane matchups have done here. The teleport you talked about, the Ezreal starting out early, aggressing against Reginald, the pressure being alleviated after the turret pushing went down. They're allowing themselves to grow up. They're getting a bit of a lead here. You're seeing a 700 gold gap now. First Blood's only 600 gold. They're getting more than just that.
Definitely benefiting from the CS as well. And Reginald has been chosen to be the one to go stop Psycho Sid. Going to have to burn his ulti just to get out of this one. And like I said, once he pops one Spirit Fire, he's going to use the other ones.
Oh, he's the last one to go backwards. That's uncharacteristic. Reginald's off his game right now. He's Spirit Rushing backwards.
There's a dual lane up top of Rumble Jarvan, though. So they're going to try and shove this lane as hard as possible before Smithy can rotate. Since he's already at red, though, he'll have a pretty easy time, and I don't think TSM will be able to answer with any minion denial up against that turret.
And the teleport's not yet up for Psycho Sid. You're right. That wave's going to get there and not be actually pressured by the champions.
Maybe like 2 minions.
Yeah, they'll lose a couple. If there's a cannon minion, it's 0 because it'll take like 7 shots to die. So interesting, though. Yeah, you're right. TSM playing the minion waves a little bit, but they're not the ones pushing turrets nearly as hard. They sent Wild Turtle special mid to keep that mid turret alive. It was under pressure before, so they're reacting to Vulcan pretty well. Right? They're defending those turrets, but TSM, aside from that Dragon, just as an adaptation, aren't making any moves themselves.
Yeah, key word there, though, is they're reacting. They're the ones making the second move. Vulcan have the first step in this game, and that's huge for them because, like you said, they have that catch-all with the Tristana for late game, where they're going to have that hyper carry towards the end.
So I want to track then how the AD carries are doing because, yes, Tristana with the late game scaling, obviously very, very scary. Has to be going for Infinity Edge with the early pickaxe buy. But compare Zuna to Wild Turtle. 79 to 62. The TSM AD carry is ahead in the gold curve here. And that could mean all the difference. One item can mean more than rapid fire.
Much later, he'll be maxing that rapid fire, though. Right now,
Rank 1, 30%.
Rank 1.
So fast.
Psychosid has returned down to his bottom lane, though, and he continues to stack up those Qs. This early in the game, he's already got 72, so that's only 9 minutes. That's even before 10 minutes. It's not that impressive of a number, but this early in the game, it just goes to show how well their rotations have paid off.
Definitely have here. Psychosid now finally fighting Dyrus, which I think is a matchup TSM wanted from the very beginning.
Well,
and he's
the 2 versus 1 is what they want.
Yeah, there we go. Smithy coming up forward here. Can he land the cocoon? Will Dyrus dodge anything? Puts the equalizer down. They're fighting inside of that burn area. Smithy just going up into the air, and that's the kill picked up. Psychosid claiming that one. Smithy spends the rest of the time in the rafters. Knew he was going to get burned out. Very nicely done gank. No ward coverage was there at all for Dyrus.
Yeah, Dyrus overextending a little bit there. He does get pinched, and now they have more free time damaging this bottom turret. The extra armor's already gone. We're past 8 minutes.
Stun lands on an odd one, though. A little bit of damage coming back onto him. Red buff burning him slowly as well. The pull onto Zuna. This could be bad for Vulcan. Lotus Special is saving his flay for the rocket jump, but there's the buzzer shot keeping that from happening. Crescendo on 2 men as well. 2 ultis burned for 1. That Vulcan does get out.
Good crescendo there from Bloodwater, but it does mean the flash crescendo initiate that they often rely on for those mid-game plays won't be available for a little bit longer.
Nearly gets the charm there is Reginald Special. I like the move to save the Flay to try to knock away the Tristana. Good buster shot again to keep that one alive. So 1,000 gold lead still here for Vulcan. The kills making most of that now. We look at what's happening across the map. Smithy has come back. He's got his early Golem Spirit. He's got boots, so it's the tank Elise, which I guess we kind of expect here from the jungle role in general. Mid lane push still coming through, though, for Vulcan. Wild Turtle has recalled back to base, which gives Vulcan some room to make moves here in the mid lane.
So 10 seconds on the spawn. They can't get all the way to Dragon for TSM, but they can get close enough to poke at Vulcan and try to delay this one. The teleport is up for Psychosid, so that he'll be able to join this fight, and if it does pop up, they're going to be a 5 versus 5 situation. There's even a ward up behind the Dragon for Psychosid to teleport on if he wants to cut off TSM here.
Now the race for Vulcan doesn't come in time. TSM gets there, and they got the pink ward, so now ward control going back to solo mid. The blue team here, the crowd favorite from what I've heard so far. And the poke game is here. Reggie doesn't quite land the charm, misses the Spirit Rush as well. This could be rough. Bloodwater a little bit alone here, does not have Crescendo. He's going to get chunked down. He falls over. 1 kill so far. Now here comes the re-engage. The Equalizer coming across. That's a lot of damage on Azuna. He got charmed. Jumps back over the wall. Psycho Sid getting lower and lower, though. He's kind of alone. Smithy goes back into Dyrus. Sid knocked into the air. I've been doing a bunch of damage across to him. Psycho Sid forced out. The ulti coming out from Wild Turtle takes it Smithy. Psycho Sid and Zuna, though, still trying to fight on right here. Wild Turtle and Dyrus out fighting. Another flash from Zuna. Sid going down. Dyrus finds another kill. Now it's up to Mancloud. Gets played back by Special. Gets death sentence. Gets hit up by the roof as well. The damage, he can't find it. Wild Turtle comes in and finds the equalize. Amazing fight by TSM.
TSM also get the Dragon after this one. Special almost even did not go down. The sole sacrifice for that fight, and that's why the team with the Rumble is usually the one forcing the Dragon, because Vulcan, they backed up into this jungle area where there's so many small corridors for Dyrus to be able to lay that equalizer. It was a beautiful equalizer along the ramp there, able to zone out several members and burn them down, even though that charm missed. If that charm had hit, TSM would have 100% gone in and been even cleaner. But even so, watch how they're able to spread out the Vulcan team, and Dyrus takes out this whole path. Mandatory Cloud is skirting here. He's not doing enough damage until he has to burn his Arcane Shift, which means he doesn't have the escape for later. A great snipe from Wild Turtle finds Smithy, and Zuna wasn't able to get in front of that one. Psycho Sid did a great job, though, tanking this entire time. 3 members of TSM. Odd1 is just walking around behind him, smacking him on the back with that spear the entire time. And as we all know, Xpecial eventually did go down. Very close, though.
Another engagement coming across onto Xpecial. Down to half HP, does not land the stun. Crescendo lands on 2, though. It's going to be enough for Xpecial. Wild Turtle forced back. Good counter kill here by Vulcan. And there's Psycho Sid.
Wow.
He looks for Wild Turtle, finds some damage. Smithy, can he land the stun? No, forces the flash away from the turtle. Smithy's forced to repel up. Ooh, doesn't even get to. Takes a bit of damage, but the turret goes down. Vulcan 2-0-1 turrets here.
Yeah, they are able to answer with the turret. Very nice move, but Smithy's so low that he has to back out. Effectively, they could pull an even team fight here, as they've sent Jarvan down bottom to deal with the split-pushing Zuna.
And you're seeing now TSM actually playing the aggressor, in fact. Neither AD carry finished any big items yet. Wither off on a Reggie. Minions just getting cleared out. Looks like Vulcan not going for anything too big just yet. Killing off the minions, but that could have been close. The Mana Mini is still stacking up here. Of course, you've got kind of a while to go until ManCloud becomes a really fearsome beast.
Yeah, it does take quite a long time now to stack up to the Muramana upgrade. You don't get that extra boost like the Archangel one.
He's only halfway there. It stacks on auto attacks now, but it's only 392 of 750, so just over halfway. Still got some time to go, and TSM back to that mid lane. Xpecial, of course, back alive. Two-shot barrage doing some damage here, knocking off some of the minions, but that charm zoning back ManCloud. The minions going down, and Vulcan don't find their next way in. Zuna just off on the side farming.
Yeah, TSM desperately want to answer back with a turret to regain some map control. Psycho Sid, running that teleport, has been able to get across the map very easily. If you're able to take out the outer perimeter of turrets, then you can close in and force Vulcan to stop putting wards so deep and reduce their movements, in which case you can contain this double AD comp.
And we'll see if they can do it then. TSM still trying to keep the containment active. They are at 1,500 gold. Zuna stuck in this 1v1, which is probably the best 1v1 Vulcan could hope for, is letting Zuna free farm. Smithy, they're looking to not even the odds, but tip the odds to their favor. At the same time, TSM looked ready for it. A lot of them are moving over there. ManCloud's still clearing out, and you're noticing you got Zuna on one side just getting farm. You got Psycho Sid on the other just getting farm. And then it's ManCloud who actually has the support this time. Just trying to get farm, trying to get levels on the big late game carries. And Vulcan are now sort of in this holding pattern where they haven't taken another outer turret down. They clearly haven't succeeded in taking dragons. This is Vulcan sort of. I feel like they're just waiting for late game. This is what it looks like to me.
There was a one small win there for TSM though, and they definitely want to make use of their AoE ultimates here. So they're trying again to return desperately to get this mid turret down.
They crescendo on the Odd1. Beautiful job getting away from this one. Xpecial, though, still caught out. He's getting low. Oh, the hit! Oh, no, Mandatory Cloud. This is bad for you. He's going to rain down and die. Odd1's getting the kill credit onto that one. And looks like the counter engage not really coming through. Reggie off on the side. He could pick up something else. This could be dangerous. There's the equalizer. There's the knockup coming for. The Cataclysm is huge. Bloodwater is bloodied up and goes down. The Odd1 still forced out. Zuna caught up by Reginald. Zuna trying to get away. Has been ignited. Gets pulled in. Smithy
so deep.
Trying to find more damage. Goes for the execute on Reginald. Doesn't still find the kill yet. No charm lands. Ah, they trade kills. Psycho Sid now the only man alive. Another great fight for TSM.
Oh, Reggie knows no fear. Goes deep between turrets there. Decided to charm off the minion. Cost him his life, but he still got his kill. So that was a very good follow-up by him. And the rotation from Psycho Sid, not in time. Yes, he's running teleport, but that takes at least 3.5 seconds to come in, and he decided that it was already too late to even use that. So TSM, again, making a really good capitalization off of just the one over the back hook from Xpecial.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, one of the few times where we get to see that, Thresh can throw his hook from whatever direction he's pointing, and you don't actually get an alert for that.
Yeah, the champion doesn't turn.
There's a really, you can throw it sideways if you want.
Helped him a little bit. They didn't know where the hook was quite going until it landed, and then ManCloud just fell over and was sad. We can see the team still trying to recover here. TSM in the lead, now 3,000 gold. That is a bigger margin than we've seen so far in this game. They're stretching that lead. And look at that, Reginald back onto the defense, trying to keep that turret alive. But Vulcan are going to outnumber this one until dyrus shows up. So just the 2-on-2. Still, no third turret for Vulcan. TSM, interestingly enough, have still only gotten one. They've kind of just been getting kills. They've been controlling dragons. But the Vulcan turret line has held pretty strong.
That is their saving grace right now. But that is really what they're banking a lot of their movements on. Here, TSM are collapsing down to the bottom.
Yeah,
and that's because of this dragon here. The teleport, though, because Psycho Sid at least didn't use it in that last fight, he can at least join this one.
Look how fast this turret's going down. TSM already grouped up. The 5 of them there. That's going to die way too fast. And there's
another
the
pick.
Initiation onto Bloodwater. Stuns on Original. Can they pick up the kill there? Reggie's still trying to get out. And there's the TP in from Psycho Sid. They traded back 1 for 1. And the fight will continue. The Ava getting jumped on Equalizer on the 2. Special getting chased down. Psycho Sid finds another kill. This could be beautiful for Vulcan. Sid still chasing with Ghost on Dyrus. 1 hit from Dead. Another kill picked up by ManCloud. 3 for 1 so far. And Vulcan are not done. Wild Turtle's about to get tamed. Zuna picks up the kill. The shutdown, 4 for 1 for Vulcan.
Vulcan, again, making use of the Nasus like we have not seen from the other North American teams. Psycho Sid comes in as the most beastly tank you can ask for. Bloodwire, though, he did get caught there by Reggie and does go down first. But since Reggie took so much damage and actually is an answer kill for a support, Vulcan have the confidence to chase across the Equalizer. They run straight through that thing. Psycho Sid leading the way on that immovable object.
But as they keep moving forward, look at this. Actually, 2 turrets did go down, but Smithy got caught out a little bit. Auburn's still chasing.
Himself, though.
He does have Cataclysm in case he's got teammates still coming in. Of course, you've got it special not far away. Smithy getting jumped on. Look at that, 200 HP left on him. Can he land the stun? 1 hit from Dead. Can he get away now? Aubun has no mana. He's got no mana. Sid's going to wither. Zuna, there's nothing. He gets out. I can't believe he gets out.
Odd one, not quite strong enough to finish that job. And during that whole time, we had the duo lane here that is the mid laner and support pushing up onto the top turret. So Wild Turtle going to have his hands full.
And look at that. Wild Turtle down to half
Good
HP.
Dodge.
Killing off minions. Ult does not hit either. But here comes Dyrus. This could be scary. He's going to go in for the Equalizer. Arcane shifts right onto it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of health. Ulti comes across. 1 and 2 kills picked up for TSM.
That's why we talked about Dyrus and Balls being really the only Rumble players that come to mind in North America, because they land Equalizers like that perfectly placed here. And Mandatory Cloud, you're right, with that Arcane Shift, didn't help him much.
Yeah, so subtracted their health bars there. And now Vulcan, a little bit on the back foot again. TSM, ward coverage over the Lizard buff here. But no numbers really for it. I think Smithian's might be able to grab this one, despite having a couple dead teammates. There's the reveal on Baron. Says, all right, TSM hasn't grabbed that. Don't have to worry about that just yet. Reggie's going to grab blue buff. Just simple maintenance here on this side of the map for TSM regroups.
Now, while TSM are ahead right now, as we go into the late game, usually what you want to do against double AD comps is have a single tank with a ridiculous amount of armor going with, Randuin's and a Thornmail even after that. It's probably going to be Odd One here has been elected to be that single point of focus that they want to use. He's going to have a very tough time catching up to Psycho Sid in terms of tankiness, though, because he's coming from the jungle. And this solo lane, Nasus has had plenty of time to stack up his Q, going with that early cooldown reduction from Spirit Visage.
Yeah, but even still, despite all that, and you're right, despite that being a difficult climb to make, Oddone's made that climb. Because of the team fight victories, 2-0 and 8, because of the global gold, Oddone's got more money than Psycho Sid. Oddone's actually a richer man right here, and allowing him to be that frontline tank, which is all kinds of scary for Vulcan.
And he has done that, the build that you talked about, Medios talking to you about, where he maxed the Golden Aegis on Jarvan second to get the extra shield. So he is going for that super tank mode. Yeah. By the way, when Jarvan had his last tweaks, taking the armor off of his flag, it was sort of balanced out by the extra shield that was added to that Golden Aegis.
Seeing them make the adaptation here. Now Psycho Sid a little bit alone in the top lane, but looks like TSM, they could look for this dive here. Dyrus, Oddone, and Special all here. They're just going to phase tank this turret down. Are Vulcan going to react in time? Spirit Fire comes down. Knockup stops Psycho Sid from chasing, but he's already ulted for this one, but doesn't find anyone to chase out with her Dyrus and didn't get anything for it. TSM now 4 members strong, and Zuna's not with this one. That's TSM's turret.
Great disengage from TSM right there. They pull back out just before the rest of Vulcan can come, and now that Psycho Sid has blown his ultimate, he had nothing left for that fight, and they take down the turret.
So wonderful play now by this TSM squad, making the right moves again and again. Just one slipped up team fight, and they're back to a 3,000 gold lead. 3,300 gold right now. Reggie forcing Zuna away from the mid lane, and I would be afraid of an Ahri as well. He's 4, 2, and 3. Reggie's got a lot of farm there. Bloodwater, though, has the Oracles, though. The ward game has begun and started into full swing. Oracles there on the support, trying to make sure they get control here. Pink wards over Baron as well, help TSM keep control of this objective. And we're seeing this start to work pretty well. TSM, they've been despite down in turrets, they've, I think, done a little bit of a better job fighting over objectives. And so this seems like Baron is something that Vulcan has to be afraid of instead of sort of thinking about for themselves.
Now they also have to start thinking about the Merman upgrade here. We just had Mandatory Cloud get that power spike, so he's going to be hitting much harder. And he also has the Iceborne Gauntlet on top of this, so the Blue Ezreal build has come to fruition.
It's arrived.
Now it's time for Vulcan to make their moves and make use of that kiting because, like we said, TSM stacking up armor here. Not only do they have Odd One as their main point of focus, rushing into the Randuins and probably stacking more armor on top of that, but they also have already 2 arm guards. Oh no, Reggie don't. Yeah, Reginald already turned his into a Zanya's.
Yeah, but so Psycho Sid, though, he is surrounded. He's got 4 members of TSM collapsing onto him, and he knows he's probably not in a good place right here. So he teleports out, and Xpecial will not catch him in time. He could have flash blade, but
they're going to rush the Baron!
Rushing Baron, the bait by Psycho Sid, and here we go. Can they have the damage? All of TSM is on the bottom half of the map. They've got to go fast. They've got to go faster. The Baron below half HP. Reggie almost in range.
They've got it.
1,000. The Baron's going to go down, but the re-engage comes across. This is going to be a close fight. Reggie's been exhausted. He's trying to dash around, but he's getting lower and lower on health. Out in the front. The stun does not land, but there's the equalizer. That might be all they need. Zuna's going to go down. I was going to fall back afterwards. 3 for 1 so far. TSM are winning this fight. Mad Cloud trying to run away. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so close. There's still 4 alive for only 2 of Vulcan. Wild Turtle is going to help cut off Smithy. I don't see Elise getting out of this one. As ult comes by, Smithy does not have many places to go. Can he find Reginald? Maybe. Will that be his 1 equalized kill?
Oh, good repel, but it's only going to buy him a few seconds.
Going to buy him a little more time. Stuns Dyrus. He's going to go down. A 4-1 fight here for TSM as payment for Baron.
Xpecial, though.
Oh no, Man Cloud, 1 hit to go. Gets hit. Q, he misses. Are you serious? Arcane Shift, he's got that one. There's no TSM members interested in killing him, so 4 for 2 for Baron. Actually worth it for Vulcan.
Still worth it for Vulcan. They did, however, also expend that teleport, so they don't have that movement left. But a really, really nice bait. They were able to finally finish it off. Good call by TSM actually re-engaging on that to get some of those Baron buffs off of the Vulcan members. However, Mandatory Cloud is going to be the most potent character that you want to get that one off in the first place. He's still wearing his. Yeah,
he scales off both those stats pretty well, so it's a pretty happy situation for that guy. Dyrus, though, he gets spotted out here, and Vulcan, they just lost the fight, but they've got the Baron buff on the 1-man, and they're now looking to control the Dragon. This has been TSM's all game. Vulcan are, again, looking to stand for this one. All the ultis are back up for TSM. Exactly. Yeah. They're all here. And look at that, Vulcan backing off. But it's going to be Bloodwater getting caught out. Goodbye, Bloodwater. The front line now here on both sides. Psychos had taken a bit of poke. No kills in trade for Vulcan. Abba's lost his ulti. So has Reginald.
They're buying time for Xpecial to join because that is their extra man. Now it's a 5 versus 4. But TSM have been poked down to 50% here on their main tank, as well as Reggie already blowing his combo.
Good poke play, but we've seen this before. We've seen the flag toss over and the lantern back. And remember, TSM still has the numbers advantage, but Vulcan trying to not be in a good equalizer position. They're going to jump in. They find Xpecial. Goodbye, Xpecial. Equalizer is burned. Ace in the hole doesn't do much. Will the re-engage come in? TSM now on the retreat here. Ooh. Nice pickup by Vulcan.
TSM kept tagging Dragon throughout that as well, so they were taking extra damage the whole time from the Dragon. A nice steal attempt there from Wild Turtle, but ultimately futile.
And now look at the gold.
Futile.
1,300. That lead was 2,000 more than this just 10 minutes ago. Vulcan have closed that down. The last Dragon and last Baron went to them. The last few kills have gone 3 to 5, which is not nearly as bad as some of these prior team fights have been. Vulcan really closing this one out, or closing the gap, I should say, not closing it out. This game is still well open for both teams.
We've got a ways to go for this one. The last Whispers, though, have come in for both AD carries, so they just got a huge damage boost, and it's really going to be the attack speed slows that TSM are looking for here.
Well, if they can get the Frozen Heart coming through, that the Chain Vest does build in a Frozen Heart. So if Odd One's going for double attack speed slow, that is an available option for him here. And it's got the build path for it. You're right that Zuna's got his Last Whisper. There's still a slight item lead. Actually, no, I'm not sure. I'm looking over here, and I'm wondering if Wild Turtle is scarier than Zuna. I'm just going to look at gold and have that cheat for me. Wild Turtle has about 1,000 more gold than Zuna, so I'm by that virtue saying that his build is stronger. He's going to do more damage here, except for the whole rapid fire thing. Then, okay, maybe not. I'm just wrong. Basically, Zuna's really scary, and Wild Turtle's going to do what he can.
All right, so let's take a look at that Nasus Q-Sax then. It's only 291 right now, 30 minutes in. Talking about not quite that scary yet. That is an extra almost 300 damage, though. I
want to ask you a question on this because it's something we're going to start tracking because there's a lot of Nasus players out there. So we say 10 CS per minute. You beat that, you're crazy, right? 300 CS, 30 minutes, that's an easy one. Can we just do like 10 Nasus stacks per minute and then just go from there and adapt?
So we're going to have you know, different scales between jungle Nasus and solo lane Nasus.
Nope, all junglers suck.
All right, well, Vulcan actually have two split pushers right now, not just the Nasus. They also have Zuna farming up that top lane. So they're funneling more money into that late game Trist, and he is getting to that range where he will be very hard for the rest of TSM to engage upon.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got huge front lines. You've got huge kiting by Vulcan. You've got, even though Bloodwater has died a lot, he's 0, 6, and 7. 2 fights ago, the one big team fight for Vulcan, he got the crescendo off through the crowd control. Like, as he was going down, he got it, which started the whole team fight. If Bloodwater was able to crescendo, that was a necessary flash original. That would have been his death.
And that's a huge cooldown for him. Not only is his ulti down, but the flash as well. All the repositioning is Ahri's strength.
And he's sitting on a 40-second cooldown still left on that. He was wearing blue buff as well as the DFG, so 33 CDR really helping him get that back. But there's still a window here. There's still this window without the mobility. Vulcan pushing in now for the secondary turret. It is got the backdoor bonus, though. It's hard to take down, but here's the next minion wave. The teleport's up for Psycho Sid, and look at that. TSM not trying very hard to defend this one. They know Vulcan's got this one. So suddenly the team that was losing all game is getting respect from TSM and making them back off.
It's going to be very, very difficult for them to deal with both of these 80 carries with their Last Whispers now, too. It looks like Odd One's trying to come up with the answer with that Frozen Heart going next, trying to focus just on attack speed slowing. But Blue Ezreal doesn't rely that much on attack speed. It's mainly going to be for Trist. And Psycho Sid, with the 2 core tank items right now, when you have Randuin's and Spirit Visage, that's when you get the huge power spike and you feel like you can tank up anything. Psycho Sid right now is going to be a beast. Despite how much gold Odd One has gotten from all the global gold and from those kills, Psycho Sid popping his ultimate is going to be more effective.
Wow, so Sid just being absolutely menacing here. Let's see what happens with TSM moving forward in the top lane. And speaking of actually tankiness and menacing.
Oh, they're moving in.
Oh, they are pushing on forward. Here we go. The teleport coming across. Smithy getting knocked up. It's now TSM on full retreat. The Crescendo's going to land on a Wild Turtle. He's going to flash out of this one up and now getting chased down. 1,200 health left on him. Sid comes in from the side.
Great box.
Puts the Wither down. Amazing box indeed. Lets TSM back off. Smithy gets caught out. This is a rough spot for him. He's going to retreat away from this one. The Odd One now only at 700 health. TSM still retreating away. Charm on to Sid. He's still alive though. No tenacity, doesn't need it. He's the tank. And ManCloud's still poking out, and now Baron's back up. Yes. This is a risk. But Vulcan can
Wild Turtle taking shots!
Wow, ManCloud a little bit too manly there. He's got to flash away from this one. The rest of the team was right around the corner, but look at that. He's buying time. The rest of his team is in the Baron pit right now, dealing damage, but they've got to back off. TSM are coming in. Reggie gets caught out. Equalizer across. They trade 1 for 1. True Shot Barrage comes in, and there's a Smithy on the side. One more kill comes down. Smithy does fall over, and look at the damage coming out. Wild Turtle eating Vulcan alive, and there's members of TSM still there with the ace against Vulcan.
None of them want to take this Baron. Look at them walking around. They're waiting for what? For Odd One to come in here. Oh my goodness. That equalizer by dyrus once again. They were actually able to take down the giant Nasus. All right, Reggie, even though Reggie takes the cocoon to the face here, 4 members, Equalizer is going to come down right on top of them. And they don't know whether to dive in or run away. Great snipe here from Wild Turtles, able to finish off Smithy, and that frees him up to auto attack. Zuna in the face. One shot and he's down.
Just goodbye. The AD carry, Wild Turtle, 7, 1, and 11. Of course, props to dyrus at 7, 3, and 13. But that cleanup crew so good now. Damage output by these guys is crazy.
That might all come back to the forward arcane shift of Mandatory Cloud in the top lane, which made him flash back outwards and gave TSM the opening to come check Baron.
Yeah. You're right, he was holding them down there. There was ward coverage enough for Vulcan. But Smithy gonna make his way over towards...
Blue Steel, are you? Ooh. Okay, he's not serious.
Nope. But the Dragon is being started, and Reggie's on the other side of the map. However, look at that. Yeah, TSM walks forward and says, no, it's ours, thank you.
Purple buff is enough to claim the Dragon area here. Even 3 members of TSM, because they have that Oracles and they can clear out vision on their way, Vulcan do not want to take that chance.
No, they don't. So here we go. We're back where we were before. 3,500 gold for TSM, but this time they're wearing a Baron buff. They're the ones in control of this map. Zuna's wearing a red buff. Zuna's got 3 big items, but look at Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle's got 4. Wild Turtle's up a Bloodthirster on Zuna, which to me is worth a little bit more than Rapid Fire. Wild Turtle's going to be crazy. We've already seen what
Reggie
happens.
goes in, but he
doesn't land the charm. That could be all it takes to let this one go in for Vulcan. Two-shot barrage comes across, some good and early damage. Charm! Oh, he gets a stun on Reggie. Can they follow up? No, not just yet. Psycho Sid down to half HP, and Psycho Sid just explodes. Bloodwater Crescendo's out, and look at that team fight. Double kill for Wild Turtle, and TSM are not done. This mid lane turret's going to be theirs.
Vulcan got a little bit too excited about the missed charm and the land cocoon there on Reggie. TSM are still wearing Baron buff. Very questionable move!
Goodbye to Zuna. This could be all it takes for the game. ManCloud gets caught, knocked into the air. Another double kill. This could be another one for Wild Turtle. 4 in that fight. He is legendary now. Crowd worthily chanting TSM.
Wild Turtle with the Caitlyn plays once again, outperforming Zuna, and X Special backing him up with the full range hooks.
And there we go, the second turret going to be going down. That's gonna be the game. TSM in the semifinals, 2-0 over Vulcan.
No matter how many times you get to go to Worlds, it never gets old. Look at the faces. It's just like the first time.
It never gets old. Gotta be one of the best descriptions I've heard for that one. Yeah, the crowd will tell you who won. That was TSM through and through. An incredibly close game.
Again, can't say enough about those dyrus equalizers. No wonder they just locked in that rumble at the end game. Did not even look twice at Zach.
Nope. He's like, I know what I want to run here. If you let dyrus have rumble, you're in for a bad time.
Such a close game, though.
It was incredible. 3,000 gold is not a large margin. I mean, maybe it's like kind of a big deal at like 10 minutes in, but when you have like a 40-minute game, 35-minute game, 3,000 gold means basically nothing. That is so little. That's maybe an utter break point if it's all on one person, which is pretty rare. In this case, it actually was pretty much Wild Turtle being 11, 1, and 11. Okay, that's kind of good. But, you know, that was just back and forth. A couple of amazing plays. That Baron bait by Vulcan, Psycho Sid pulling everyone to the bottom side of the map and getting out.
Beautiful.
Was amazing.
That was beautiful. And TSM, I have to say, their execution has just been so crisp. They worked out the communication issues that they've been citing all season long.
Yeah.
They just made decisive move after decisive move. Didn't hesitate to follow up on that Baron, chase down the survivors to get those Baron buffs off, and then chasing into the Baron the second time. 3 members surviving with under 100 HP.
Yeah.
They barely came out ahead in that.
Such an incredible game. So maybe they got to start banning out dyrus as well. Those equalizers amazing. So guys, that's going to do it for us here. We have more games today, but to break down the one we just saw, let's send it over to Jat and Riv at the lounge.